What instantly kills the vibe at a party? What instantly kills the vibe at a party? If the hosts are a couple and they get into a fight. If the hosts are a couple and they get into a fight. When someone gets extremely wasted and too out of control, starts to pick fights, has drunk fits, will sprawl on the ground, needs 100 supervision, has to be carried around. You just wanna chill and enjoy the party, but you can't 'cause you're stuck babysitting. When someone gets extremely wasted and too out of control, starts to pick fights, has drunk fits, will sprawl on the ground, needs 100 supervision, has to be carried around. You just wanna chill and enjoy the party, but you can't 'cause you're stuck babysitting. I was at a staff party with an open bar, and it reached the time when the first clusters of guests were leaving. When they went to get their coats from the closet, they discovered a young new team member who we thought had left hours ago. He had stripped off all his clothes, made a nest of jackets, soiled everything and passed out. Killed the vibe for sure. Bless his heart. Did he ever show up for work again? He peed and had diarrhea, unfortunately. He did show up to work on Monday, but he only lasted a week or two before he left the organization. Yikes. Maybe watch the 18-year-olds when you have an open bar. There was one guy from my town who would consistently drink too much, pass out on the couch, and shit himself. Definitely stopped a few parties dead. So someone shit in and around the coats. I was at a staff party with an open bar, and it reached the time when the first clusters of guests were leaving. When they went to get their coats from the closet, they discovered a young new team member who we thought had left hours ago. He had stripped off all his clothes, made a nest of jackets, soiled everything and passed out. Killed the vibe for sure. Bless his heart. Did he ever show up for work again? He peed and had diarrhea, unfortunately. He did show up to work on Monday, but he only lasted a week or two before he left the organization. Yikes. Maybe watch the 18-year-olds when you have an open bar. There was one guy from my town who would consistently drink too much, pass out on the couch and shit himself. Definitely stopped a few parties dead. So someone shit in and around the coats? That one sad drunk who is loud as hell. The trick is to be so drunk yourself that you don't care. Christ. I had to stop inviting a really good friend to my parties because he did this, culminating in his monopolizing 3 hours of my birthday, talking about what shit his life was. To be fair to him, his life was indeed shit, but it was a mood killer. Edit. To clarify something for some very angry people, I have funded and offered to fund mental health care access out of my own pocket for my friends, including that one sad drunk who is loud as hell. The trick is to be so drunk yourself that you don't care. Christ. I had to stop inviting a really good friend to my parties because he did this, culminating in his monopolizing 3 hours of my birthday, talking about what shit his life was. To be fair to him, his life was indeed shit, but it was a mood killer. Edit. To clarify something for some very angry people, I have funded and offered to fund mental health care access out of my own pocket for my friends, including that one. Someone putting the big light on. Used to work at a bowling alley. On the weekends we had cosmic bowling, dark black lights, fog machine, disco lights. At midnight we would turn the music off and the big fluorescent lights on so people would go home. The vibe kill was instantaneous. Got to turn the lights down and keep things sexy. And then when the host wants to go to bed, they just snap on the lights, kill the music and watch everyone scatter like cockroaches. Can't believe I had to scroll so far to find this. Lights matter. No one has fun with a 100 bulb revealing all their shame. A friend of mine announced she had to fart to the entire kitchen while she was intoxicated. She proceeded to shit liquid diarrhea on herself. It hit the floor. It smelled terrible. Party ended before it really ever began. Guess she had some stomach bug or ibs or something. She ended up getting diapers for any gift-giving occasion after. No clue where she ended up. We lost touch a year or so later. Edit. I've had some experts weigh in to tell me nobody with ibs trusts farts, so I'm going to bend the knee to those soldiers battling their own columns and rule out ibs. I'll leave it in, though, for continuity. Rule of 467, never fart when drunk. Always assume it's shit. When someone gets too drunk and starts arguing. When I was 17, I passed out for 4 hours. Then woke up and started arguing that natural evolution no longer applies to humans because we keep solving problems that would have led to people dying before passing on their genes. Thus only selective evolution still applied. I regret that night immensely. But fortunately, by the time I woke up, the party was basically dead anyway, so I didn't kill much of the vibe. Someone took a shit in the sink at a house party of mine once. That was a buzz killer for sure. Party pooper. One time, my brother, 14 at the time, wanted to see how hard it would be to dig out a 1 meter x 1 meter square hole out to the ground, Minecraft inspired. He spent a good amount of time over a weekend digging until he got bored. It was mostly finished. Fast forward a couple months. I throw a party at my dad's house, and we're having a blast, a bonfire out back and everything. A kind-hearted attendee noticed the pit in the ground and made it his duty to guard the pit, for he did not want anyone to get hurt. Someone got hurt. Spoiler alert. It was him. He fell into the pit, our brave guard. Thankfully, we had a sober person there, and they drove him to the hospital. But that instantly killed the vibe at the party. Edit. The end result? He broke his leg pretty bad, crippled by his own hubris. Aggressive drunk S. I think the SE is needed. A single aggressive drunk can be headed off. The party can pinball them around the place and make them feel special. And if not, push them into a ditch. Multiple aggressive drunks. Now, you can party with bikers, just don't stay till the end of the party. When someone changes a song before the best part. I've done this and got my dumbass excommunicated, rightfully. Nothing worse than an impatient DJ. Even if the song is mediocre, it's certainly better to suffer through it as opposed to skipping each song played 20 seconds into it. Shortage of drinks when everything is closed. Ah yes, time for the adventure. Gathers the folks for the quest to the closest gas station to buy more alcohol. Gets lost twice. Changes destination several times. 3 people go missing. Somebody passes out. Drink entire booze before they make their way back home. At my own wedding, which I had procured enough alcohol to kill a medium-sized African country's population, the event coordinator came up to my wife and I like mid-dinner and was like, "We're going to run out of booze." I was like, if that's true, people would be leaving in ambulances. And it was late and snowy, and we were way up on top of a mountain, but we were not going to run out of booze, so one person's sober moan made the most epic B-I-Oo-No of all time down the mountain to the liquor store before it closed, and we partied all night. Next morning, we're taking inventory after the party, and there was a massive amount of alcohol left over, like several grand worth that we got to take home. No clue why the venue planner said we were running out, but we drank on that alcohol surplus for like a year before it ran out. An overdose. I witnessed this. Host and 2 friends went to a room to do a little booger sugar, but it must have been laced with fentanyl or something. They were found unresponsive, party over, paramedics, cops, etc. Narcan definitely saved them, and they made a full recovery. But damn, what a horrible night. In college, when we wanted to wrap up the party at 2 or 3 am, play Dark Side of the Moon. Drops the energy, no one is being asked to leave, people are chill as they head out. No crazy disruptions for the neighbors. Not specifically the vibe killing that the rest of the posters are sharing, but similar. When I was ready to shut down my parties, I played Gordon Lightfoot. Everyone got the hint and left happy. Me and my buddy used to work at a bar kinder out in the middle of nowhere. Me as the bar back and him as the DJ. When we wanted people to start wrapping up, he'd play Disney tunes. The ultimate vibe chiller. When people take over the TV to share YouTube videos. Oh, there's a funny video about this. Let me find it. No, it'll just be a second. I don't see it on TikTok? Was it YouTube? 1 second, it's loading. Okay, here it is. No, wait. No, it's this one. Okay, here it is. No, wait. No, it's this one. Okay, ready. 0, 4, 6, 55. A couple getting into a public argument. That's entertaining for the most part, I find. 4 or 5 guys arsonably walking in that may or may not know the host. I had a party once with a bunch of ravers and didn't know half of them. Then some neighbors asked if they could come in. They were a little sketchy, but we said okay. And the second they walked in the house, my roommate's Boston Terrier started growling and walked them all right back. That dog knew something. Injuries. Watch me dive headfirst into the shallow end of the pool and break both my hands. Oh, I'm going to do a keg stand and break my nose. Cops, gunshots. Anybody whips out a crackmouth pipe or syringes, I'm out. I was once at a party where I knew nobody except a friend and his Jeff. The three of us ate some mushrooms, and I ended up having way more than I should have. I felt super uncomfortable, so I went and just chilled out in my car for like 6 hours. At some point, my friend and his Jeff came and sat with me to make sure I was okay, and they convinced me to come back into the house where the party was. When I went inside, there were people smoking crack and shooting up in the house. It was absolutely wild, and once again, I was super uncomfortable. I had a minor confrontation with a guy who turned out to be my friend's brother and decided to leave. I drove home because I didn't know what else to do. It was a very rural place, so cab or bus were not options. But as I was coming down from the mushrooms and driving through the countryside, the sun was rising, and I just remember feeling like I had been at a crossroads that night, and I really felt like I had picked the right path getting out of that crack house and had been rewarded with a sunrise. It was both a super sketchy and super cool experience. When the guy smoking weed says, "Oh, man, I didn't know people were going to be doing drugs up in here," Dave Chappelle. Someone trying to show off a weapon, especially a gun, it's time to nope out. Omg did this at a party, brought out my taser, and started playing with it. That brought up the vibe. Until someone asked to see it, and my dumbass let them, and they started being hellacious with it, almost tasing people, and I couldn't get it back. Thankfully I did, and I locked it in my car, and then that guy followed another friend home, and her friend stabbed him 6 times. The person with a fresh breakup. If it's a chick, she's trying to hard 2-act single, groping random guys, constantly wooing, screaming lyrics and swearing. She tries too hard to be the center of attention, knocks all the cups off the beer pong table, and constantly barges into other conversation. And then she crashes into a ball of sadness in the bathroom, where random girls have to hold her hair and fix her mascara. If it's a guy, he rolls into the party 6 deep and is being physically dragged into the house. He is surrounded by other guys who are hyping him up and going around the house, explaining to random girls how great he is. Strangers who are absolutely wasted give him advice and repetitive compliment. He ends up doing too many shots in a row and stumbles into the backyard to yak. Using the party for Melm sales opportunities. I was invited to a dinner party and only found out when I got there that it was a pitch for Amway. When I arrived, I was told there would be a short presentation prior to dinner. I said, "No, thank you," and left. Moved back to my small town. First person to contact me outside of the small friend group that knew was trying to get me to come by for an Amway meeting. Thanks for making my homecoming suck, Leslie. You're a horrible cheerleader. I went to a bridal shower at which the mother of the bride used it to pitch some jewelry Meln scheme she was in. It horrified me that anyone would be so tacky at her own daughter's shower. The crying girl that needs everyone to console her. "Get out of the bathroom, there's a line forming." I remember I was at a party once, and this girl did that, but she thought she was too drunk. She wasn't, and was going to die and got people to call an ambulance for her. We sat at a table, drinking beers and rolling joints. Canada, and these paramedics and cops showed up, and it was basically just an eye-roll fest for everyone involved. But it was a hookup, and they kept going into the only bathroom to fuck. There is always that one girl crying, and no one knows why. Holy fuck this. There was one girl who always killed the party in high school. She would get drunk and then just cry about everything and how you don't get it. Eventually we kicked her out, twice because she came back in covered in mud since she fell in the garden, and after that we would turn her away at the door, pointing out someone's recent bad experience. Someone thought it would be a good idea to loudly ask a girl, "Hey, I heard you failed your test so hard that you flunked out of your program. Is that true?" The one girl who thought her boyfriend would propose that night and cries for the rest of the party. Why you'd want to be proposed to at a frat party is beyond me, but okay. Anyone who is offhandedly berating, insulting, taking digs at their romantic partner in front of everyone. Go to couples therapy already or break up. Quit bleeding your relationship issues out all over the damn place. We can tell you're unhappy, we get it. We don't want to be an unwilling third party to your drama, and if you're acting like an ass, we're going to call you an ass. It doesn't mean we're taking sides in the fight. The dude who had too much. This is a good catch, all. It doesn't matter if that dude gets angry, violent, or if that dude just becomes loud and annoying, but harmless. It kills the vibe either way. When I was about 15, 16, a mate of mine threw a party because his parents were out of town. There was a dude at this party, all but downed a 75-little bottle of Southern Comfort straight from the bottle. Started falling over everywhere, started throwing darts everywhere, but the dartboard then proceeded to throw up in the sink in the bathroom. Then got in the bath and slipped over, bringing the railing down. Got out and went and passed out in the host's parents' bed. They all antiqued him and wrote the usual shit on his face. Drew dicks, swastikas, etc. He got up in the morning, had to apologize, and then got picked up by his dad and had to explain it all to him. And that lad was me. Learn from my mistakes. Kids, put Coke or lemonade in your Southern Comfort. Strangest I've seen, a dorm party. Drunk girl goes to her room, gets her Bible, and tries to start preaching at all of us. When it didn't go over well, here came the tears. Luckily, some friendly types got her back to her room and tucked in. Dunno if they did some Bible study briefly or what, but they got it handled.